Good morning, friends. Miss M here. How's everybody doing? I know it's not the same learning from home and doing those worksheets, but you guys just keep up the good work because we will see each other very soon. And stay well. If you're sick, stay home. If you don't feel good, tell a parent. Okay, guys? So today we're going to come together and talk about a famous author. An author is somebody who writes a book, and this author actually, a lot of his books became movies as well. And so I'm going to tell you a couple of books, popular books that he wrote, and then also tell you a couple of movies that came about because of his books. And then I'm going to see if you can guess who we're talking about. And then we're going to actually read one of his books today. Okay? So, again, the guy we're talking about, he has passed away. He's no longer living, but we celebrate him on this day because it is his birthday and because he was such a famous author. And we still read his books to this day, and they're some of the most popular books out there. And his books have become amazing movies. We do still celebrate him on his birthday. So if he were still living, he would be 117 years old today. And although he's not, again, we're celebrating him because today is his birthday. Happy birthday. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a couple of books that he's wrote. Then I'm going to give you a couple of movies that came about from his books. And I'm going to see if you can guess who I'm talking about. And then I'll tell you who it is. And then we're going to read one of his books. And then I'm going to encourage you to see if you can get online on YouTube on your iPads and look up another book to listen to. Or even if you have one of his movies, pop that in tonight and watch it with a family member. Okay? So, the gentleman who we're talking about today was born with the name Theodore Seuss Geizel. He was born in Massachusetts, really far up north near New York City, and he was born in 1904. That's 117 years ago. Now, Theodore Seuss Geizel was a very popular children's author. He was a very known cartoonist, illustrator, and poet. Okay, so I want you to remember that word poet. That means he writes things that rhyme. Okay, rhyming means words that sound the same. So let me give you some examples. So some words that sound the same are cat and hat, or flower and power, or rug and bug. One more, hair and chair. So these are words that rhyme. And Theodore Seuss, guys, almost gave it away, was one of those people, every time he wrote a book, it rhymed throughout. So he was very well known for that and probably one of the best poets as far as children's books. So some of the books that he wrote that we still read today are The Cat in the Hat. If any of you have ever heard of that book. Green Eggs and Ham. I will not eat them, Sam I am. Another book that he wrote was Horton Hears a Who, which also became one of his famous movies. And then another popular book is Oh, the Places You'll Go. That's a really good book by him. And then on to some of the movies that came about because of some of his books were, again, that Horton Hears a Who became a really popular movie. His book Cat in the Hat became a very popular movie. The Lorax. And then one of his most popular movies was The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. We've all seen The Grinch, right? So that's one of my favorite Christmas movies. I watch it every Christmas multiple times. So, I want you to take a second and see if you know who I'm talking about. He wrote Cat in the Hat, The Grinch. His middle name is Seuss. So, if you said Dr. Seuss, then you got it right. Okay, guys? So Dr. Seuss is who we're going to talk about today because we are celebrating his birthday. And today, I have a book by Dr. Seuss, and it's called The Butter Battle Book. Okay? The Butter Battle Book. And we are reading this in remembrance of Dr. Seuss. And again, he is the author of this book. You are going to hear those rhyming words, so listen for the rhyming words. And it was published at the Random House in New York, okay? So, The Butter Battle Book by Dr. Seuss. On the last day of summer, 10 hours before fall, my grandfather took me out to the wall. For a while he stood silent, then finally he said, with a very sad shake of his very old head, "As you know, on this side of the wall, we are Yooks. On the far other side of this wall live the Zooks." Then my grandfather said, "It's high time you knew of the terribly horrible things that Zooks do. In every Zook house, in every Zook town, every Zook eats his bread with the butter side down." That's silly. But we Yooks, as you know, when we breakfast or sup, spread our butter, Grandpa said, with the butter side up. That's the right, honest way. Grandpa gritted his teeth. So you can't trust a Zook who spreads bread underneath. Every Zook must be watched. He has kinks in his soul. That's why as a youth I made watching my goal. Watching Zooks for Zook watching. Border Patrol. In those days, of course, the wall wasn't so high, and I could look any Zook square in the eye. If he dared to come close, I would give him a twitch with my tufted, prickly, snickly berry switch. Woo! Dr. Seuss, guys, is also known as somebody who makes up words. So all these words that you hear are not going to be real. Like a Zook, that's not a real word. Or a snickberry switch, that's not a real word. Okay? For a while that worked fine. All the Zooks stayed away, and our country was safe. Then one terrible day, a very rude Zook by the name of Van Nitch snuck up and slingshotted my snickberry switch. With my broken off switch, with my head hung in shame, to the chief Yookaroo in great sorrow I came. But our leader just smiled. He said, "You're not to blame, and those Zooks will be sorry they started this game. We'll dress you right up in a fancier suit. We'll give you a fancier slingshot to shoot." And he ordered the boys in the back room to figure how to build me some sort of triple sling jigger. With my triple sling jigger, I sure felt much bigger. I marched to the wall with great vim and great vigor, nigh up to vantage with my hand on the trigger. "I'll have no more nonsense," I said with a frown, "from Zooks who eat bread with the butter side down." Van Itch looked quite sickly. He ran off quite quickly. I'm unhappy to say he came back the next day in a spiffy new suit with a big new machine, and he snarled as he said, "Look frighteningly mean. You may fling those hard rocks with your triple sling jigger, but I also now have my hand on a trigger." My wonderful weapon, the jigger rock snatch 'em, will fling 'em right back just as quick as you catch 'em. We'll have no more nonsense, we'll take no more gup from you yooks who eat bread with your butter side up. Look at these machines they made. Look. Wonder who's going to win. We'll see. I have failed, sir, I sobbed as I made my report to the chief Yukaroo in the headquarters fort. He just laughed. You've done nothing at all of the sort. Our slingshots have failed. This was old-fashioned stuff. Slingshots, dear boy, are not modern enough. All we need is some newfangled kind of gun. My boys in the back room have already begun to think up a walloping whizzinger one. My bright boys are thinking. They're right on track. They'll think one quick, and we'll send you right back. That was really hard word for Miss M. Walloping whizzinger. Say that 5 times fast. They thought up a great one, they certainly did. They thought up a gun called a kick-a-poo kid, which they loaded with powerful poo-a-doo powder and ants' eggs and bees' legs and dried fried clam chowder. Ew! And they carefully trained a real smart dog named Daniel to serve as our country's first gun-toting spaniel. Then Daniel the Kickapoo Spaniel and I marched back toward the wall with our heads held up high, while everyone cheered and their cheers filled the sky. Fight, fight for the butter side up, do or die. Well, we didn't do and we didn't quite die, but we sure did get worsted, poor Daniel and I. Van Itch was there too, and he said, the old pig, the boys in my back room invented this rig called the 8-nozzled elephant tooted boom blitz. It shoots high explosives, sour cherry stone pits, and will put your dumb kickapoo kid in the fritz. Poor Daniel and I were scared out our wits. Look at this big old machine, guys. I want to be on his side right now. Once more by Van Itch I was bested and beat. Once again I limped home from the wall in defeat. I dragged and sagged and my spirits were low as I thought they ever could go. When I heard a boom-bah and diddle-dee-dill, and our butter-up band marched up over the hill. The chief Yukaroo had sent them to meet me, along with the right side up song girls to greet me. They sang, oh, be faithful, believe in thy butter, and they lifted my spirits right out of the gutter. Let's see what's going to happen. My boy, smiled the chief Yukaroo. We've just voted and made you a general. You've been promoted. Your pretty new uniform's ready. Get in it, and big war is coming. You're going to begin it. And what's more, this time you are certain to win it. My boys in the back room have finally found how. Just wait till you see what they've puttered up now. In their great new machine, you'll fly over the wall and clobber those butter down Zooks one in all. Those boys in the back room sure knew how to putter. They made me a thing called a utterly sputter. And I jumped aboard with my heart all aflutter and steered toward the land of the upside down butter. This machine was so modern, so frighteningly new. No one knew quite exactly just what it would do. But it had several faucets that sprinkled blue goo, which somehow would sprinkle the Zooks as I flew. And gum up that upside down butter they chewed. That's a cool new machine. Let's see what happens. I was racing pell-mell when I heard a voice yell, "If you sprinkle a Seuss, you'll get sprinkled as well." Van Itch had a sputter exactly like mine, and he yelled, "My blue gooer is working just fine. And I'm here to say if you ukes can go zooks, you better forget it, 'cause zooks can go ukes." So now they have the same machine, same exact machine. I flew right back home, and as you may have guessed, I was downright despondent, disturbed, and depressed. And I saw just as soon as I stepped back on land, so were all of the girls on the butter up band. The chief drum Margaret, Miss Yuki, and Sue said, "That was pretty sour flight that you flew, and the chief Yukaroo has been looking for you." I raced to his office. This place was a sight. "Have no fear," said the chief. "Everything is all right. My bright back room boys have been brighter than bright. You've thought up a gadget that's newer than new. It is filled with mysterious moo like a moo, and you can blow all those zooks clear to Salamagoo. They've invented the Bitsy Big Boy Boomeroo. You just run to the wall like a nice little man. Drop this bomb on the zooks just as fast as you can. I have ordered all the ukes to stay safe underground while the Bitsy Big Boy Boomeroo is around." As I raced for the wall with the bomb in my hand, I noticed that every last uke in our land was obeying our chief Yukaroo's grim demand. They were all bravely marching with banners aflutter down a hole for their country and right side up butter. That's when Grandfather found me. He grabbed me, he said, "You should be down that hole and you're up here instead. But perhaps this is all for the better somehow. You will see me make history right here and right now." There's the wall, guys. One side is the ukes and one side is the zooks. Grandpa leapt up that wall with a lopulous leap, and he cleared his hoarse throat with a bopulous beep. He screamed, "Here's the end of the terrible town, full of zooks who eat bread with the butter side down." And at the very instant we heard a clup clup of feet on the wall, and old Van Itch clumped up. The boys in his back room had made him one too. In his fist was another big boy Boomeroo. "I'll blow you," he yelled, "into pork and wee beans. I'll butter side up, you small smithereens." Okay, let's see what happens. "Grandpa," I shouted, "be careful. Oh, gee, who's going to drop it? Will you or will he?" "Be patient," said Grandpa. "We will see. We will see." And that's the end, guys. Now, that's not a very fun ending because we don't know what happened, do we? I don't know what happened. So that's where when we read a book and it ends like that, well, we have to guess maybe what happened. So my guess would be that they decided not to drop the boomerangs and they became friends. Just because one eats butter on one side of their toast and one eats butter on the other side of the toast, it shouldn't matter. We should still all be friends, okay? So today, again, let's celebrate Dr. Seuss. You can get on your iPad or maybe on a computer at home and read maybe one of your favorite Dr. Seuss books. Again, listen for those rhyming words. And then maybe tonight, if you don't have anything to do, you could watch one of Dr. Seuss' movies. Even a Christmas movie, because maybe I'll watch The Grinch tonight, you know. Maybe we need a little Christmas spirit. So today we are celebrating Dr. Seuss's birthday. Happy, happy birthday, Dr. Seuss, number 117. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. And I will see you guys soon, okay? Bye, guys.